Hey guys, hope you're doing well. For those of you who are celebrating Easter, I wish you happy Easter a bit in advance. So today's audio was a question by a lovely client and subscriber, and it was about if there were some common things for the clients who had their spell work manifested. And this client asked if there were some common things they did, and also if it manifested in some ways that would be like a pattern or that would be for the majority of clients, because this client knows that I do keep track on these things and I do statistics as much as I can. So, for the first portion of the question, what did these clients do? I've mentioned this a couple of times before, but basically, your spell work will depend on three things. One of them is your vibration, which you totally can control. The second is the situation, so it will depend how bad the situation is. That will determine your chances, but it will also determine maybe how long it's gonna take, and because the harder the situation, the more time it will take for everything to be arranged for your spell work to work. In majority of the cases, not always. So again, this is just statistics. And the third thing that your success will depend will be your target. So we have targets that are easier to influence, we have targets that are more stubborn. Um, as you know, targets do get pushes, and every spell works in terms that every spell will give pushes to your target. So your target will, think about you, dream about you, whatever we want them to do, basically. It is gonna happen for sure. There's no way it wouldn't. So if they're stubborn, it does not mean that they will not receive the pushes. They will. But the thing is, it will depend whether they're gonna be willing to react on those pushes on the level of their stubbornness. And sometimes a stubborn target needs more and more pushes to finally crack. And then we have targets who just listen to the pushes right away. So it depends on the level of the stubbornness of your target for sure. Okay, so where was I? Sorry. Oh yeah, what did the clients do that was like common? That was something that majority of them did to have their spell work be successful. So, like I said, the only thing you can control is your vibration. So you can't control your target. Nobody can control them. We can give them pushes, but that's it. So you shouldn't be trying to manipulate the target or to do anything yourself when you use magic. The second thing, as we said, is the situation, which is what it is. So what you can do with this one is to not make it worse. So you will be specially instructed depending on your situation, maybe what you shouldn't do, what you should do. It's going to depend. But let's get to the portion you can control. So every single client that had success, every single one, everyone, 100% of the clients, they followed the instructions. And what I mean by followed the instruction is that they did the vibrational work. So they got out of the needy, desperate energy. They got out of the victim mentality. That's number one. They worked on themselves. They have worked on the way they react to things. They have worked on their shadow, and they have definitely done this successfully. They also have been focusing on themselves, which means, living their life, being happy and fulfilled on their own, and focusing on their goals and wishes and things they wanted to achieve, no matter how little or how big those goals are. And they can be tiny goals, guys. They can be tiny goals. Every goal is a good goal, and every focus on something that is beneficial for you is amazing for your vibration. So these are the things they have been doing, 100% of them. Follow the instructions. So whatever I told them to do or not to do, they did or didn't do. And that's mainly it. That's the common thing that 100% of them did. Follow the instructions. You need to do this. This is not optional. And the biggest problem with spellwork failing, and I'm not just talking about myself, I'm talking in general, because a lot of casters will not direct their clients to vibrational work. Some of them will say you have to be in a high vibration, and that's it. And some of them will give directions, and some of them will not even mention this because maybe they're gonna think this is something that everybody knows they need to do. But basically, every single spellcaster that is legit, that is a real caster, will mention it. Some may just assume that you know. But this is not an option. And like I said, the majority of spellwork in general fails because you are not in the right vibration. And the thing is that magic is, as I always say, energy work. That's what it is. Plain and simple energy work. And for energy work to be successful, your vibration needs to be in line. And that's why it's so important. And this is the biggest reason, like I said, why it fails. It's not the only one. Sometimes it's gonna fail even if you are in a high vibration, if your target is too stubborn and just doesn't want to, or if the situation is just impossible to arrange. But the biggest reason is vibration. And so many people do not do vibrational work. I've noticed that over these 22 years. They don't feel like it, they don't want to, they think it's stupid, they just refuse, or they try it and it's too hard for them to get out of the victim mentality. They just think they can't. Everybody can, by the way, everybody can, but they just think that for some reason they can't, or they don't even want to try. And that's the majority of the cases. They don't even want to try, or they think they are in good vibration even when they're not. A lot of people will be delusional about vibrational work, unfortunately. So that is that. Now, for the second portion of the question, which was basically if there was some common way that for the majority of people the spells have manifested, the answer is no. No, there is not one single way that I would say happened for the majority of people, because guys, every single person is different, every single situation is different, every single target is different. So it can happen in a bunch of ways. Sometimes it can happen sudden. So you just suddenly receive a text from your ex, or they come and see you and they're like, I want to get back together. Sometimes you will be in no contact with them and all of a sudden they're going to text and they're going to immediately want to get back together. And sometimes it will just take slower approach. So, it's just going to depend. I can't give you a specific way it's going to happen or a time frame. Impossible. Now, what I will say is that some clients did receive some signs before, but I wouldn't say this was the majority of the clients. I would say this is the minority of them. I would say like 10% got specific signs before the spell manifested. So for some, they did see hearts everywhere or heart shapes everywhere. And then for some, they received yellow flowers as a gift. And this happened for, I would say 5% of clients, which is not that much, but it is, when you look at how many people, it is a fair number. So yellow flowers are favorite flowers from Angel Jophiel. And as you know, I do a lot of spells with Angel Jophiel. And this is the specific sign that some clients have received. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to receive any kind of sign, because majority of the clients didn't have any signs prior. So again, it's really hard to say something that will kind of be, oh, this happened for the most clients, because no, nothing happened for the majority of the clients. It really, really does depend. So, guys, that is what I have for you today. I hope this was helpful and insightful, and I love you guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.